I first found out about the Palisades Muppet action figure line about 10 years ago now, and I was immediately obsessed. I've always been a big action figure collector and a big toy collector in general, and to see that there used to be this amazing Muppet action figure line with beautifully detailed figures absolutely packed with weird and obscure accessories, there was no way for me not to become absolutely obsessed with this line. But there was a problem. These figures are incredibly desirable on the secondhand market. Online back then, and still today, it is really hard to get your hands on a good, full collection of Palisades Muppet figures, with a lot of them being incredibly expensive. Back in 2014 and 2015, I made a little collection for myself. I got a few characters, including Usher Scooter. He was my first figure because he was consistently one of the cheapest ones online at the time. Scooter was a personal favorite Muppet of mine at the time, so I was happy to just have any character from this line in my collection. Eventually, I got Johnny Fiamma, who's probably my favorite figure from the line, one of my all-time favorite Muppets in general, and I think one of the best-looking ones I own. To this day, he's basically the only Palisades figure that I still keep on display on my shelf consistently, and if I'm not displaying him, then I'm almost definitely displaying his framed picture of Salmonella. This has been on my shelf for so many years, you can see the picture has started to get a bit sun-faded. Eventually, I added two more figures to my collection, the Newsman, and his wonderful set of accessories, as well as Gonzo and his cannon. And then I kind of stopped. I kind of got out of the Muppet phase that I was in at the time and didn't really focus on collecting anymore, instead focusing my interests on other things. I did pick up a few Diamond Select Muppet figures when those started coming out, but when my Kermit's leg broke and had to be re-glued immediately out of the box, I was kind of disappointed with the line and discouraged to collect more. I did eventually pick up an animal who is genuinely a really fantastic looking figure, and eventually, much more recently, I picked up Sam the Eagle and Rizzo. Here's Animal for the record. And while these Diamond Select figures do look alright, in my opinion, they still just don't hold a candle to the old Palisades figures, who are so incredible. They're still inspiring toy designers to this day, with the new Sesame Street NECA figures that just came out, very clearly being inspired by the old Palisades Muppet line and the canceled Palisades Sesame Street line that's clearly inspired the designer, who's even shown off some of his own Palisades figures in comparison to the new Sesame Street ones. I cannot wait to get my hands on those. Those look like they have the chance to be even better than the Palisades figures. It's a high-end Sesame Street collectible action figure line, jam-packed with accessories and all of the modern amenities of modern action figures, like alternate hands, heads, incredible deep-cut accessories. It's like Palisades 2.0 for Sesame Street, and honestly, I can't wait to start reviewing them on the channel. But for now, I have a different item to focus on. The first Palisades Muppet figure to enter my collection in a decade. You see, for a very long time, I've wanted to get some more Palisades figures, but they're all so expensive. Time and time again, I've considered it, and I've never bit the bullet, but just the other day, I was at a collectible store in a mall near me, and they had a wide variety of Palisades Muppet figures. Kermit, Floyd, Dr. Teeth, Gonzo in his tuxedo with Camilla, Officer Fozzie, New Zealand, and in the way back, barely visible, this store keeps everything in glass cases for the record. I could barely make out who it was. And then I saw something. I saw the Beethoven bust, and I realized I'd stumbled upon Rowlf. Rowlf, as I'm sure many of you know, is my all-time favorite Muppet, and getting his Palisades figure is something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. They were selling it for $50, which of course is quite a bit, but typically this figure tends to go for about 60 or 70 new in box online, so as soon as I saw him here, I knew I had to pick him up. Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another video here on Mupptown Funk. As always, I'm your host Ty, and I'm very excited to do another review here on the channel, hoping to make these a bit more frequent as I pick up some more Muppet merchandise. Today, I'm super excited to be taking a look at Rowlf from the Palisades Muppets action figure line. I cannot believe that I found this in a store, no less, for a pretty alright price, new in box. He's looking great. Now, the Rowlf figure itself is a pretty controversial one in the eyes of Muppet fans and Palisades Muppet collectors because he's in a tuxedo, And in all honesty, I cannot recall a single time Rowlf was in a tuxedo off the top of my head. We're doing a sequel, but that came out over 10 years after this figure did. I think maybe in the Muppets A Celebration of 30 Years. I'm sure there are a few standalone examples here and there, but putting Rowlf in a tuxedo was obviously a pretty controversial choice, and to this day, it still baffles me that they did it for his regular single release. Of course, a few years later, they did release a regular Rowlf without his clothes, which became insanely rare because it came packed in with a backstage playset, one of the most infamously rare pieces of the entire Palisades collection. I can't even find a listing for it on eBay right now. In fact, the only listing for the regular naked Rowlf figure that I could find that came packed in with that set was $225 loose. So yeah, that's not joining my collection anytime soon. Hey guys, Ty and Editing here. While looking for that Rowlf listing so I could put the picture of it up on screen, I actually found a listing for the backstage playset. This is the first time I've ever seen it in box. I didn't even know what the box looked like before right now, and yeah, it's insanely expensive. But the tuxedo, in my opinion, has always kind of overshadowed this Rowlf figure and made it kind of disappointing to me that it's not his regular look. It's so odd that they chose to do this. They didn't really do this for any other figures. A lot of figures had tuxedo variants. They were kind of obsessed with that. They called them the steppin' out variants. I don't know why they made so many characters in suits, but to have this be the regular Rowlf single was, in my opinion, such an odd decision, and something that luckily wasn't replicated when Diamond Select started their Muppet line. They knew to make just a regular old Rowlf. But regardless, he still is an excellent looking figure, and I'm very excited to take a closer look at him, so let's get started here. As part of Series 3 of the line, Rowlf is a part of the Muppet Show 25 Years card back style. This red packaging, made to look very reminiscent of the Muppet Theater, was changed to a blue one later on with a more general Muppet theme instead of specifically being made to celebrate the Muppet Show. I definitely prefer that later blue packaging, but this one is still quite nice. You can see the rest of the characters in this wave here: Swedish Chef, Rowlf in his suit, Scooter, Zoot, and New Zealand. I at the very least appreciate the character artwork they're using for Rowlf is him in the suit. It doesn't feel misleading, you know, they understand that they put him in the suit. That same image is down here, and I believe this was a promotional image for Rowlf's album, I want to say. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like it's a part of that photo shoot. While editing, I found the full image here. I don't believe it's part of the photo shoot for Rowlf's album. I'm not actually entirely sure where it came from. It may just be a general promo image. If this was tied to something, let me know in the comments, please. While the packaging is in pretty okay condition, that sticker there is peeling off a bit. You can see he's labeled as Rowlf, Baby Grand Piano, and Beethoven Bust. In case you didn't realize already, yes, Rowlf comes with an entire piano behind him. It's a baby grand piano. Palisades line was always incredible with their accessories, and while I would like to have seen some more for Rowlf, I really don't mind because he comes with an entire piano, so you really can't complain. Palisades figures would either include a ton of little accessories or kind of one huge one, like Scooter's popcorn car, Gonzo's cannon, other things like that. Piano with an opening lid and fan favorite Beethoven's bust. Is the Beethoven bust a fan favorite? I guess maybe. It's pretty funny. I like it. The Beethoven bust appears in merchandise time and time again. He came with the Diamond Select figure. He even came with the Lego figure. So I guess that does make sense. We have some interesting designs off here to the side. We could flip Rowlf around to the back and see the fully decked out back of the packaging with the Muppet Show 25 Years logo. More of the rest of the wave, all using those same images. And a little profile for Rowlf. Name, Rowlf the dog. Job, piano player. Special talent, sitting, staying, fetching, chasing cars. Likes, Beethoven, Brahms, Bach, Puccini, and old Jimmy Dean records. I like that. Dislikes, fleas, ticks, cats, letter carriers. And then we have a description that I believe was used for every figure. Can you picture that? Well, picture this. Presenting the third in the hot new series of fully articulated action figures from the Muppet Show. After 25 years, 5 seasons, and 120 shows, now you too can recreate some of your favorite Muppet Show moments and collect even more of the classic characters everybody knows and loves. Series 3 includes Scooter, Rowlf, Zoot, fan favorite New Zealand, and the totally awesome Swedish Kitchen with the Swedish Chef. This is like one of the holy grails of the line. This is easily one of my most wanted items, one I know I will almost definitely never get. Any of the play sets I would love to get my hands on someday. It's the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational action figure collection you'll ever own. This is what we call the Muppet Show. Also available deluxe Swedish Kitchen with Swedish Chef. Some more legal information there. Jim Henson company logo. Coming soon, Series 4 with Rizzo, Link Hogthrob, Sam Arrow, Julia Strangework, and the Swine Trick with Piggy. I absolutely love that they credit the designers. I love seeing this. This is something that NECA does now, who again is doing the Sesame Street figures. I also like that they credit the character sculpt and tuxedo sculpt prototype differently, which makes sense as the tuxedo is kind of like a rubber piece that goes over Rowlf. Although I will say, looking at that and looking at this, those suits don't fully line up, do they? This one has 3 black buttons up here. This has 3 white buttons down here. It's not even a perfect match to the picture, but whatever. We're going to get this guy out of the package and take a better look at him. I'm sorry that I'm decreasing this item's value, but I want to open it. Come on. All right, let's be careful. Always try to preserve the packaging as best as possible. Trust me, I do this for a living on my other channel. Okay. Careful, careful. Later on, when they introduced that blue packaging, which I believe began with the following wave, they did make it quite a bit harder to open up these figures, honestly. Oh wow, we didn't even shout out the choking hazard at the bottom. All right. Almost free. We got you, Rowlf. Don't worry, buddy. We're coming to save you. Can you guys believe he's been in here for 20 years? This is something I think about sometimes when I'm reviewing cars on my main channel. I'm like, this thing has been in here for decades, untouched. Whoa. Oh my gosh. This is massive. No. Whoa. So here we have not only the insane baby grand piano. If this is the baby, I'd hate to see how huge the adult is. We also have Rowlf's stand down here, complete with 1 peg hole. This part actually isn't fully concealed, so we can pop that out. Also, pop out the piano. Oh my gosh, this is insane. This is crazy. I didn't realize it was this big. And it comes with an entire set of supports. No wonder Rowlf doesn't come with any other accessories. This is probably the biggest accessory in the entire line. Even Diamond Select opted for a smaller piano, and their figures come with a ton of accessories too. Okay, this is crazy, and probably a bad idea to review on a black background. You can barely see it, but before we get to that, let's of course free Rowlf, who's just kept in with a couple of twist ties here. You know what? Let me just untwist Rowlf off camera, and we'll be right back. All right. We got Rowlf's twist ties undone. Let's free him. And of course, the fan favorite Beethoven bust. Pop that guy out too. Oh, is he also held in by something? No, he's just kept in with the plastic. All right. Careful. Come on. He's really held in there. There we go. All right. We've got him. Now let's be very delicate with Rowlf. The unfortunate thing about Palisades figures is that they do kind of have a tendency to break sometimes, I've learned. So we are going to be as careful as possible with Rowlf here. Let's see. There he is. Wow. The sculpting work on Rowlf here is absolutely beautiful, as all the Palisades figures really were. They really captured the look of the characters, not only as characters, but also as puppets. Small details like all the little dots in here representing the foam and the felt and the fabric is incredible. And Rowlf's shaggier parts here, everything that's not his face, are all sculpted immaculately with his fur and everything. It is really, really impressive. Now, I will say, I think the naked Rowlf figure does have a bit of a better likeness to the character. There's something a bit off here. I think it's his shaping of the eyes and the eye focus is a little bit inaccurate in my opinion, but it still does look just enough like him. Rowlf has quite a bit of articulation going on here. His head does swivel, although the head is kind of permanently on an angle, and it does seem to chafe a little bit against the kind of rubbery soft plastic piece of the suit. I don't want to mess with it too much, but it doesn't have the best mobility. Probably the funniest thing to me about this figure's articulation is that the ears are actually on a joint, and that's just, I think that's really funny. So you can get some posing in the ears if you want him like swept back. He's like, he's like that meme of the guy playing the piano while it's on fire, you know. Starting to look like Ben Franklin like that. Jeez. You can see inside the ears it is sculpted to fit comfortably and snugly around him just fine. I think the ears do get in the way of turning the head, but again, this thing's over 20 years old, so it is going to be a little bit stiff. We got the nose here, as well as the mouth, which has a very nice expression sculpted in there. I do like that he's got an open mouth going on. Bit of a smile. It's a very in-character expression for Rowlf. It's not really a full smile, but, you know, it's kind of there. Mouth fully painted in black, which is, of course, accurate to the Muppet itself. As I've stated a few times before now, the suit is this sort of soft plastic piece. I guess this part is soft plastic. This part is a bit of a harder plastic, but it does have kind of this finish to it that makes it feel kind of rubbery, almost kind of vinyl-y. I do wish that there was some paint work going on the suit. I really would like those buttons to be painted in black, not only to match the artwork a bit better, but also because I just think it would genuinely look nicer if those were painted. I also would have liked the bow tie to be painted too. Just, you know, paint some of those parts in black. The jacket itself has this soft plastic piece going around it. We've got the buttons on either side. We have this long tail in the back, which I guess is fitting because Rowlf is, of course, a dog. I love the collar being sculpted here. 2 more buttons on the back. And we, of course, have his hands, which are actually turned outwards out of the box, at least on my copy, which is a bit weird. We're going to have to rotate those to get him to play the piano. But, yeah. Always got to be careful with the Palisades figures. I always worry about them kind of snapping apart. Okay, there we go. We do have some pretty basic arm articulation with, let's move the ears out of the way so you can see better. Ball joint here at the wrist. Get a bit of mobility there. Again, you do have some chafing because of the jacket, so it doesn't go out all the way, but it goes out more than enough to get Rowlf to play the piano. In the case of Rowlf, really, you're not going to be moving him that much, you know. He does have a swivel here at the kind of a little higher up than the elbow, but you do have that on either side. We have his little cuffs there. Nice touch, having those on both of the arms. The articulation is very simple, kind of T-crotch articulation. Just the leg going up, both legs go up. Feet do not move, and you do have a body swivel at the waist there, which is good in case you want Rowlf to do a sick kick line. I am happy to see that. A lot of the early Palisades figures have very limited leg articulation, and Rowlf is a little bit on the pudgy side, so it's not like, I don't know, there's not really a place to put his ankles, in all honesty. I don't have Diamond Select Rowlf, but I doubt they gave him ankle articulation either. But yeah, the articulation is very good for 2003 standards, especially if you know other action figures at the time. It is very, very good. It's going to be interesting to see how NECA kind of super articulates those Sesame Street figures. We have these nice black stripes running down either side of Rowlf's pants. They're kind of like the Han Solo stripe going on. Let's lift the flap real quick, see what's going on. A little more sculpting here, which is nice. It's so cool to even sculpt under the coat where you would never see it. Very, very nice. In case you're wondering, Comparison for scale, there he is against Johnny Fiamma, one of the taller figures I own. There he is with Scooter. Let's get Gonzo in here as well, just for the sake of reference. And also, here's Diamond Select Sam. The Diamond Select figures don't really scale too well with each other, in all honesty. But for reference, there is Rowlf next to one of those. Now, of course, for accessories, we have the Beethoven bust. I really, really would have liked some head articulation on him. As we all know, the Beethoven bust, the joke with him is that he is actually alive. So I would have liked some articulation. I love when we get Beethoven bust merchandise. He came with the Diamond Select figure, albeit weirdly yellow. My favorite inclusion is in the Muppet minifigure line from Lego, where they gave him 2 different faces. I love how they put him together with a regular Lego head and gave him alternate faces. But I would have loved either a swivel here at the head or a joint here. A joint here would probably be pretty obvious, but to have him be able to lean forward would be really, really great. But beyond that, the sculpting on this is immaculate as well. It not only looks like Beethoven, it does specifically look like the Beethoven Muppet. And I just love that attention to detail. A lesser company would have just made it look like Beethoven, but they went out of their way to make sure it captured the Muppet itself. Now let's move on to the biggest part of this figure, the piano. Was there always a power outlet back there? Hold on. All right, to help make the piano stand out better, I've put it on a piece of paper here. This is why I do my car reviews on an all white shelf. But of course, we do have to put this together. Let's see, we have a little bag here. Actually, before we fully put together the piano, here's the stand in case you wanted a better look at it. Pretty typical Palisades logo here. I believe some of the older figures had a Muppet Show logo on the base, which I definitely would have preferred, but oh well. Okay, we got the pieces here. I really don't want to mess this up. There are not instructions on how to put this together. Granted, it shouldn't be too hard. It looks like all 3 legs here are the exact same sculpt. So let's just very, very briefly consult the card back here just to give us a bit of a clearer image, just in case. There's just straight up not a picture of the piano put together. Okay, well, we're flying blind with something I paid $50 for. Okay, let's see. We have this piece, very nicely detailed. Hold on, guys. Okay, let's see what we got. All right. Okay, this shouldn't be hard. Let's see. I'm going to assume we're going to go like this. This probably goes here. Yeah, these are, oh, okay. These are the pedals for the piano, right? So we put this down. Okay, there we go. This should slide in just fine. Again, there is a little nub to direct you. Let's see. There we go. Let's get that in there. And fit this one in as well. Okay, so it didn't need instructions. Goes together just fine. There we are. All right, now the piano is standing up. It is quite tall. Should reach Rowlf, perfectly. All right, incredible. Okay, now it's time for the moment of truth. Let me zoom out my camera as we figure out just how tall this piano gets. No way! Oh my gosh, this is insane! There's a little hole here. You can see that. No, you can barely make that out on camera. There's a hole there. There it is. To line up with the little rod and connect them. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Look at this. Look at the detail. We haven't even lifted up the keys yet. Hold on. Okay, we have the little music stand there. Oh my gosh. Those keys look weirdly close together, but then again, I'm not a baby grand piano expert. The fact that they fit a whole set of them on here is fantastic. This is crazy. Look at this. All the inner workings, all the keys tied together, and the gold parts back here. I can't even begin to talk about how immaculately well detailed this is. This is such a good looking item. I genuinely can't get over it. I am incredibly impressed. I do wish we had a few more accessories for Rowlf. I think what is especially missing is, you know, a piece of paper to put on his music stand. Even in his character art, he's holding a piece of music paper. So the fact that he doesn't come with a little plastic piece, even if it's one that's permanently sculpted on, I think that's a shame. So for now, I am going to put the Johnny Fiona album, Moonlight Fiamma, there instead. There we go. No, but seriously, I do wish we had something like that. I also would have really liked a candelabra, which I believe we did get when Diamond selected it. But now you could have Rowlf playing away. His hands reach down perfectly. He isn't looking down at the piano, but that's fine. I mean, he's a very good player. I don't know if he necessarily needs to. You could have his ears windswept back dramatically as he plays his piano, and he plays such hit classics as You and I and George and 8 Little Notes, and that one where he tells Fozzie he doesn't have rhythm. Rowlf can stand on his own just fine, but for the sake of completion, we can put him on his stand. He does have 2 peg holes, one on each foot, which is really nice. So you can stand him up there and get him to play away, or if you want, you can fold up the piano and put the Beethoven bust on so they can have some back and forth. This is insanely impressive. I'm genuinely so glad that I bought this. One of my favorite Palisades figures in my collection. While he doesn't come with an absolute ton of wacky, obscure accessories, he comes with an insanely impressive piano. I am insanely impressed by this. But there you have it, guys. My full look at the Palisades Rowlf figure. At this point, the fact that he's wearing a suit doesn't even matter to me anymore. This is fantastic. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and let me know if you want to see some more reviews in the future. Definitely want to take a look at some more figures if I ever get my hands on them, including those Sesame Street ones coming soon. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.